Listen, dude, I'm done with it.
Dude, you've been done.
I'm still here.
For what? See, why? Because you just want to be a asshole.
You're right.
Then why the would you be in this competition,
I'm here.
bone face?
Why do you look 50 and you're 24?
What? What did you say? Go yourself.
Would you rather have the brand new PS5 or a weekend with these three lovely ladies and you can do anything you want with them?
Wait, anything with them?
Like anything.
A whole weekend?
A whole weekend.
Damn, but the PS5 though, like it just dropped.
I know.
Oh, damn, y'all beautiful though, but
Hold on, what'd you say?
PS5 or us?
Oh,
bro, y'all beautiful, but I had a PlayStation 4 for 4 years, but I need a PS5.
God.
My nigga.
That all up in me at one time. Don't try to make me take all that dick at one time.
Slow and easy.
He said, don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you. I would not rush all this dick up in you at one time. I'm going to take it easy on you. She said, okay, I think I can take it. So he laid down. The nigga rushed all that dick up in her.
Jammed it into there.
Jam and round.
Like Jam City.
All kind of dick up in that girl at one time.
Dang.
And took her breath some more.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
Thanks for all your help. Bye-bye, Tanja. Bye-bye.
I want to do it the right way and learn some of the unwritten rules.
That's why I was talking about the seminar, so that we can get players to come down there and bring their grievance, their problem, how to catch a hooker, what you do to be a boss player, what do I say to my wife when I decided that I wanted to be a true player and walk out on the family. We need a seminar so we can teach these guys to give them the right understanding so they'll know, man.
Grand hustler. I came from plural. Yeah. My mama ain't going now. Yeah. She ain't going now. She just didn't hit a rough spot. She got 9 felonies. Her credit fucked up. She can't do nothing. My mama was a grand hustler. She sold dope, did her. She was GD. Everything. I watched my mama do this. My dad was GD. He was gangster disciple. My mama was 16. This nigga was 23.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Cali West. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling this shit. I appreciate the 3 or 4 people who are tuned in. Y'all probably not really used to me, signing on this early, but hey, somebody gotta do it. You feel me?
He ain't lying.
All right, so let's get to it, man. Now, of course, my boy XL Pro says After Pill Morning Show. And then he says like, share, and subscribe. Cash App $ Cali West 1. You can also check me out on x.com/Cali West Miami.
My nigga.
Now, of course, we got my boy Patrick Singh. He comes through saying salute. I appreciate you for tuning in. Then we got Kevin Hodges. He says, I'm in. Just got done messaging you. LOL. For sure, me. G. I appreciate you tuning in. He said, definitely making some coffee real quick. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Look, hey, we gotta, you know what I'm saying? That's what we hear. This is the wake up show, you dig? So glad that you tune it in, bro.
I want to do it the right way and learn some of the unwritten rules.
That's why I was talking about the seminar, so that we can get players to come down there and bring their grievance, their problem, how to catch a hooker, what you do to be a boss player, what do I say to my wife when I decided that I wanted to be a true player and walk out on the family. We need a seminar so we can teach these guys to give them the right understanding so they'll know, man.
All right. So, yeah. So there's the period that Nick Cannon has a lot to say. Let me show you. Matter of fact, this is from TMZ, of course, and I'll show you the little video clip that they got, and I'm reading it from their post. Nick Cannon says Democrats are the KKK party.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
He ain't lying.
Yo, he's actually 100% correct. We're going to talk about the nuances and the nuances to the rebuttal, what people got to say. If I can, I would like to see if I could pull up this Facebook post where I originally seen that he even said that. That way I could read what the comment section says on that. But until then, we're just going to go on and discuss the video. Now, of course, Nick Cannon expressed some distaste for the Democratic Party, calling them the party of the KKK. That said, don't expect that man to vote Republican either. That's what the article says. The actor and rapper laid out his raw thoughts about America's major political parties in the new episode of his Big Drive show that came out on Friday while chatting with Amber Rose about her recent move to the Democratic Party. As a matter of fact, let's show y'all that video now. Here we go. I ain't about to be selling nothing on my channel. But once again, y'all, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling this shit.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
That's right.
Part of the Republican Party.
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal.
Yeah.
I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you had a whole nother, you up there with the elite now? Or?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people. Okay, and they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
Nick.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I don't subscribe to either party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names. So
yeah, I mean, look, I listen, I'm not married to any party.
Right.
I voted for Donald Trump because we had two options and he was definitely by far the better option for us. And as of now, I agree with a lot of things that he's doing.
Cleaning house.
Yeah.
He doing what he said he was going to do.
Guess what? If there's a time where I don't agree, I'll say I don't agree.
Yeah.
We
got the Gulf of America now.
Period.
He charging, he's like the club. He charging a $5 million bottle service fee to get into the country.
I know. Listen. But guess what?
Okay. Hold on. Okay.
Who are these niggas?
I cried laughing when I
You
read
know what I'm
it.
saying? like, we need to stay away from these niggas.
Now, yo, I definitely agree with the overall premise that Democrats are the party of the KKK. Now, as far as Amber Rose saying that the Republicans actually care about black people, I don't know. I think that might be a little bit of a stretch.
Emotional damage.
Now, just because someone doesn't care about black people is not necessarily a negative, because Democrats supposedly care about black people. But guess what? Most of the things that we complain about, police brutality, redlining and redistricting and redistricting and redlining, or if we talk about what we want to talk about, segregation, or we want to talk about lack of opportunity, or we want to talk about police. I think I already mentioned police brutality, but or poor education or poor schools. These are complaints from Black Democrats. Let's just be real. Most of the things that we complain about is happening in Democratic cities. Let's just keep it a buck. Now, Malcolm X, see, the things I'm saying, sounds kind of outlandish. It sounds crazy. But the truth is, even Malcolm X even mentioned, everything that I'm talking about today. And that's another thing that's ironic too, is because, a lot of people like to give Democrats credit for essentially for some reason we look at Democrats as the people who gave black people the right to vote, and as if they gave us the right to vote and they're the ones who freed the slaves and things like that. When in reality, it's been the Democratic Party that has always had, their way of keeping black people disenfranchised. As a matter of fact, let's go back 60 years. Let's see what Malcolm X got to say about it. And he talks about how this political structure of Democrats and Republicans, he discusses it 60 years ago. Here we go.
Clear, Malcolm X's position did not grow out of anti-Jewish hatred. He condemned anti-Semitism as firmly as he condemned all forms of racism. What shaped his view was not prejudice, but an anti-colonial lens. He saw Palestinians as fellow people of color living under domination, part of the same global pattern he had witnessed in Africa, Asia, and Black America. But in the United States, the conversation around Israel and Palestine has long been tightly managed. Across media, government, and academia, the boundaries of acceptable speech have been carefully drawn. Criticism of Zionism has often been treated not as political disagreement, but as something inherently suspect, sometimes even recast as hatred itself.
You know what? I gotta say, I didn't mean to include that, but go figure. Back in the day, it was even a big deal to even mention them. Hey, what did they say in I think they said in Fallout, said what's that? What, when things change, war remains the same. Things don't change. The same things that we're discussing then, we're discussing now. So what did the civil rights movement really do for black people? Absolutely nothing.
He ain't lying.
Climate mattered. In the 1960s, Malcolm's open solidarity with Arab and Muslim causes pushed him far outside what many Americans were willing to tolerate. His analysis did not fit neatly into Cold War moral frameworks, and it did not flatter American power. And even decades later, revisiting those critiques still touches a nerve. There is a lesson in that contrast. Supporting King's broad call for equality can earn reverence, a holiday, a monument, a place in the national story. Supporting Malcolm's internationalist critique, especially when it extends to American foreign policy or Zionism, has more often led to distance, suspicion, or silence. Some moral positions move smoothly through institutions, others set off alarms, and the difference between them reveals less about the justice of the ideas than about what power is willing to hear. The result is that Malcolm's internationalism made him far more threatening to the status quo. King's moral vision, at least the version preserved in public memory, moves easily through American institutions because it does not require a reckoning with U.S. foreign policy. It challenges injustice, but within boundaries power knows how to manage. Malcolm crossed those boundaries. You can honor King without indicting America's role in the world. You cannot honestly honor Malcolm X without confronting his broader accusation against global white supremacy, against empire, and against America's place within that system. And that difference matters. It explains the imbalance in how they are remembered. Institutions gravitate toward the voice that leaves certain foundations intact. They resist the one that questions whether those foundations were ever just to begin with. King's message could be absorbed. Malcolm's knocked on pillars still fiercely protected. And
even though that part of the video I wasn't trying to show y'all, but it just goes to show that they like to uphold the people that they think they're saying that are saying but the powers that be want to hear, and then they tend to silence the people that they don't like to hear. And this is a known fact, bro. Oh yeah. And by the way, shout out to Spark Up. He's the one who made this video. So salute to Spark Up.
Power, when faced with that choice, has always made its preference clear. In summary, memory is not just about truth, it's about risk. King's positions, as remembered, pose little risk to the machinery of American global interests. Malcolm's positions, if remembered in full, would pose a challenge. So memory has been selective. One man's global vision is celebrated as part of a noble fight for human dignity. The other's global vision is often swept under the rug. This selective memory isn't a conspiracy, it's an organic outcome of how power operates. Some ideas are simply too combustible to place on pedestals in Washington, D.C. Thus, the architecture of acceptable dissent allows King's image safe passage, while Malcolm's is stopped at the gate, labeled too dangerous and too foreign. Up to now, we've discussed how and why one leader's legacy was softened and promoted while the other's was marginalized. But it's crucial to understand that this didn't happen by accident. Power not only silences dissent, it also curates representation. In other words, the establishment actively participates in deciding which Black voices and which messages get amplified to speak for Black America. This is the machinery of misrepresentation at work, a process Malcolm X himself warned about repeatedly.
In 1964, the Black people should band together and do something about selecting and electing representatives, Black representatives, politically, who have the rights and the best interests of the Black people at heart. That we should also unite together and sweep out of office all of the Black political puppets who are used by the white power structure to continue white supremacy in our communities.
I'm telling y'all, and I gotta read these comments. Kevin Hodges put a very important comment. He says, even the Heavenly Father tells us there's nothing new under the sun. What was done before will happen again. Facts, G. All facts.
My nigga.
In that regard, would you include Congressman Dawson, for example, from Chicago, and some of the people who represent him on the Chicago City Council?
In what regard?
In the area of acting as a puppet.
I don't know what Mr. Muhammad's opinion is of Congressman Dawson. I'm suspicious of any Negro, be he politician, be he clergyman, or civic leader who is constantly patted on the back by whites. I have a tendency to lead toward the Negro politician who is constantly condemned by the white power structure. This is my thought pattern. I'm giving you an insight of it.
You, though, mentioned Mr. Lin and saying you'd like to know who his white friends are. Now, I'm wondering if you didn't make a contradictory statement in Muslim terms by using white and friend in the same phrase. That is
I
to
use
say,
friend in quotes.
I say, in other words, if a black man cannot have a white man as a friend.
He may have a white man who's friendly, but being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
I would agree that no doubt there have been a large number of whites who have posed as liberals and as friends of the Negro and who have time and again betrayed the Negro. On the other hand, I think one could point to a large number of whites who have struggled for civil rights, for equality, and have got little or nothing out of it, other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negroes.
Okay, I'll be more specific. I would cite Herbert Hill, for example, as a kind of person who has championed Negro job rights, for example.
Malcolm X brought up a good point. You know how, for example, if you look up any debate about politics, about black people voting Republican or Democrat, you'll always hear people say, what did they say, for example? People will say that, the KKK, yeah, they were part of the Democratic Party, but after 1964, after the Civil Rights Bill, they moved towards the Republican Party. And yes, that could be argued, and there's actually a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. Now, with that being said, does that mean that all racist black people, all racist white people went to the Republican Party? Or did the white people who like to hide their racism just stay in the Democratic Party because Democratic policies still benefit them? The Democratic structure of how they want things to go still benefits them. Black people going ahead every election year begging for more money to be invested into the hood and more welfare and stuff like that. And, that does not help a community grow. That does not help a community be great. As a matter of fact, that community is actually worse in the 2026 than they were when there was segregation, legal segregation. Just think about that. Just think about that. Let's continue.
In New York City and elsewhere. He has fought the political machine.
First time I met Herbert Hill personally was when they were picketing to stop the working on the Harlem Hospital in Harlem. Negroes for 10 years had to fight the city to get an annex built on the Harlem Hospital. Because in Harlem, we need a hospital more so than anything else. Our people are sick. Plus, we do a lot of cutting and shooting of each other, though we profess to be nonviolent.
What did you say, Malcolm X? Run that back.
No doubt there have been a large number of whites who have posed as liberals and as friends of the Negro and who have time and again betrayed the Negro. On the other hand, I think one could point to a large number of whites who have struggled for civil rights,
Give me
for
an example.
equality and have got little or nothing out of it, other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negroes.
Okay.
Now, yo, I gotta stop it for a second because my boy XL Pro says Lyndon B. Johnson. Yo, who benefited from black people voting Democrat? They did. They did. Because guess what? After black people voted Democrat, Lyndon B. Johnson and his cronies decided that they were gonna go and attack a small Asian country called Vietnam. And whether they said the black people who were supposed to get these civil rights and supposed to have access to the American dream, they sent their ass right off to damn Vietnam to be breathing fucking napalm.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper! You set us up! It's all bullshit. All of it.
Like, yo, you've been had, you've been took, you've been hoodwinked, led astray, run amok. Shit.
This is a sick Negro.
Man, shit crazy, boy. Shit crazy. But mind you, at this point, I know there's a lot of black people waking up, but there's a lot of black people who are still asleep. Like, people still have access to Google and they have smartphones in their hand that are better than some of the computers that we have here. And guess what? Black people still don't want to hear it. Trump racist, Trump bad, but the Democratic whites are good.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I'll be more specific. I would cite Herbert Hill, for example, as a kind of person who has championed Negro job rights, for example, in New York City and elsewhere. He has fought the political machine.
First time I met Herbert Hill personally was when they were picketing to stop the working on the Harlem Hospital in Harlem. Negroes for 10 years had to fight the city to get an annex built on the Harlem Hospital. Because in Harlem, we need a hospital more so than anything else. Our people are sick. Plus, we do a lot of cutting and shooting of each other, though we profess to be nonviolent.
I have to stop it right there. I have to stop it right there.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Who are these niggas?
I cried laughing when I read
You know what I'm saying? like, we need to stay away from these niggas.
Now, yo, when I bring up black on black violence, people tell me that I'm doing a job of white supremacy and, oh, there was no such thing as black on black violence. And, well, there's, do people say white on white violence? That's the rebuttal. But, yo, Malcolm X himself, him and the Black Panther Party had a big problem with black on black violence. And that's one of the reasons why Malcolm X was like, if a white man disrespects you, or hits you or puts violence on you, you better go put him down. Whether it's a police dog, whether it's a two-legged dog, put that dog down. Because guess what? He knew black people would, look, it's not nothing new that black people been killing each other. Not saying, it's got perpetually worse, by frequency. But guess what? If a black person was, saying brave enough to cut up another black person, they better be brave enough to cut up a white person. Yo, this is things that people want to deny. But Malcolm X himself even mentioned black on black violence. But guess what? Is he a racist? Is he supporting black supremacy because he mentioned that black people are cutting and shooting each other, even though we're supposed to be nonviolent?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
XO Pro, I think he's ready for the sound effect. But only white supremacists bring up black on black violence, right? Man. Kevin Hodges says, yeah, both sides actually work with each other in a scripted reality is deep. Remember, the world is staged. Well, you know what? We could talk about that. Like, for example, people like to say they both work together. But Kevin Hodges, well, first off, they say whoever you cannot talk about in society, those are the ones you should be worried about. If you can't talk about, a certain country that starts with an I, and you can't talk about someone who has a little hat and stuff like that, right? But you could say anything you want about Donald Trump, then guess what? Maybe Donald Trump is not the bad guy, or maybe he's not the main one you should be worried about. Think about that, right? Think about that. And when I say I'm not talking about Illuminati. Think about that. XL Pro says bars. And here's another thing too. People like to also say the argument of, well, the Democrats and the Republicans are different wings on the same bird. Okay, so why don't you vote for the other wing then? Guess what? You still, for some reason, the same wing is the different wings on the same bird, but for some reason, you still want to vote for the left wing for some reason. Vote for the right wing for once. If it's the same bird, why don't you try the right wing? Like, for example, if I wanted chicken wings, would I be mad that, I like the left wing, but then someone wants to give me the right wing? Isn't it the same wing? I thought it was the same thing. See, that's where that argument falls apart. But, like I said, if the powers that be are the same people on top, then, we got to kind of consider what are we talking about at stake? Because here's the thing, whether they go to another country and start wars and stuff like that, that's kind of really out of our hands. I think the main thing that's when we vote for presidents or vote for a party, we're kind of referring to what's happening and what's affecting us every day as an American. Not necessarily what's happening overseas per se, even though that could affect us as well. So yeah. XL Pro says they become mathematicians when you speak on black violence. Exactly. But what's crazy is that the Black Panther Party, the reason why, here's the thing. People think that the Black Panther Party, they think that they were only policing the police. No. The Black Panther Party was not only policing the police, but they're policing the community. They're making sure people wasn't selling drugs to kids and pimping out little girls and stuff like that. They made sure that shit was not going down on the block, bruh. But guess what? People think that the Black Panther Party, all they did was just stand against the police. And, that was part of it. But part of it was also to fix the community. And that means policing the community and make sure gang members doing gang banging and doing stupid shit like that. And cutting each other and shooting each other, just like Malcolm X is talking about in Harlem. Shit crazy. The agenda, the Reading Rainbow agenda. Kevin Hodges says, yeah, that's true. You're talking about the synagogue of Satan, aka the false jewels, which actually control both sides. Well, I mean, like I said, but even gets even further than that, because it's not just, we're not just going to talk about one specific group of people, the whole structure. And yes, it is a big club. Definitely a big club. Definitely a big club. But what's ironic is, see, Malcolm, we're going to let Malcolm tell it, man. Let Malcolm tell it. Preach, my brother. Preach, brother.
And Herbert Hill brought his forces out and stopped the working on that site. This is the first time I ever saw him. Then when work was brought to a halt on a hospital in Harlem, the same Negroes tried to stop the work at the Downstate Medical Center in Brooklyn, which is predominantly white. They were out there for 3 months during the summer. Couldn't stop anything. And I never saw Herbert Hill out there one time. Now, whenever it takes a stoppage of something that's going to affect the white man, you find the white liberal absent. But when it involves something that primarily will affect the best interests of black people and black people only, then that white liberal is present. Herbert Hill is the labor secretary for the NAACP. And if he was interested in black people, he would prepare a black man with the type of knowledge and understanding of the labor troubles involving black people that would enable a black man to sit in the same position as Secretary of Labor or Labor Secretary in the NAACP. I'm suspicious of whites who join Negroes and always have to be in the lead, who always have to be the head, who always have to be at the top in Negro organizations. Those whites who really have the interests of blacks at heart, let them give some advice to some Negroes and stand on the sideline. But don't join the organization and then get at the head of it and pose as a friend of Negroes.
Well, I would...
Hey, he ain't lying. He ain't lying. Think about it. It's like if you want your child, it'd be like if you have a child or you have a friend, and let's just say, they don't stand up for themselves. You can only fight their battles for so long. Now, this friend, you can teach this friend maybe how to handle himself, but ultimately he's going to have to do it himself. But if you always go in and you're always the one fighting his battles for him, how does he grow as a person? And guess what? And let's just be real. The truth is, are you really protecting him or are you really just sabotaging him? Because the truth is, maybe if you just step back to the side, maybe that man, maybe your son or maybe your homeboy could maybe, be triumphant and beat the other person and realize he don't need you no more. But guess what? You're blocking. And that's what they've been doing. That's essentially what they've been doing with the NAACP and the civil rights movement. There's always some white person over there, all in the videos, all on the songs, all in the videos, all at the shows. And the same goofy shit that they was doing back now, they was doing back then, and black people still ain't learned, bro. Still ain't learned.
Defend his sincerity and his commitment. And more than that, I would say that just because a person is a Negro or a black American does not mean that he's going to struggle for Negro rights or for jobs for Negroes or anything else. I think that today you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Minister Malcolm, I'd like to...
Well, I would cite one example would be Congressman Dawson, for example, in Chicago. In Chicago, a large number of liberals located in the Hyde Park district have consistently fought Dawson and his betrayals of the Negro, and they've also fought some of the people who represent Dawson on the Chicago City Council.
The only Negro I know who is constantly fought, only Negro politician that I know who is constantly fought by white liberals is Adam Clayton Powell. And they call him a racist because he speaks so bluntly on the race issue. But I'm not, as I said, not too familiar with Dawson and his work.
Minister Malcolm, in our textbook, which the students have read, supposedly, there is a statement, which is a quotation from Essien and essentially that from Lincoln, to the effect that the Nation of Islam does not have a great deal of support in the Negro community in this country by and large, and
they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear, they don't want to watch no black and white. They don't want to hear about the past. No one really cares about the past. And then they wonder why their present and their future continues to be fucked up. I literally had more people, but then half the people tuned off because I guess they didn't want to hear about this boring shit that I was playing. And that's cool. But I think I kind of got my point across. The bottom line is, hey, I got to say, I'm actually agreeing with, I'm not agreeing with Nick Cannon or Amber Rose's stance on why they like necessarily the Republican Party. But with that being said, I still definitely agree with voting for the Republican Party at this time, because guess what? At least they're not the party trying to cut off, they're not trying to do any gender changes and all this crazy shit that they got going on. And let's just be real. They'd rather push the Rita Reno agenda, because guess what? The person who was supposed to get their civil rights or was supposed to get their just dues in this country, the black man, still hasn't got his just dues. And the civil rights movement, it just basically gave civil rights to handicaps, white women, black women, Mexicans, or any people, Arabs, everyone with a black man. Because in reality, they rather, here's the thing, the Democrats rather give the country to non-black immigrants than they would rather give to the black people who built this country. So go figure. So I could understand why Nick Cannon and people like Amber Rose, or not even so much people like Nick Cannon and Amber Rose, because guess what? Nick Cannon and Amber Rose is no one to idolize. But, I do appreciate the fact that they're kind of willing to just say what they mean and actually be, willing to be honest about who they're affiliated with. No one has to be a Democrat because your mama voted Democrat. Your mama voted Democrat, and yeah, your mama was on welfare too. So what?
Part of the Republican Party.
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal.
Yeah.
I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you had a whole nother, you up there with the elite now?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
Okay,
and they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
Nick.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I don't subscribe to neither party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names. So
yeah, I mean, look, I listen, I'm not married to any party.
Right.
I voted for Donald Trump because we had two options, and he was definitely by far the better option for us. And as of now, I agree with a lot of things that he's doing.
Cleaning house.
Yeah.
He doing what he said he was going to do.
Guess what? If there's a time where I don't agree, I'll say I don't agree.
Yeah. We got the Gulf of America now.
Period.
He's charging, he's like the club. He's charging a $5 million bottle service fee to get into the country.
I know. Listen. But guess what?
Like I said, man, I ain't saying Trump is perfect. By no means is he, but there was no way that Kamala Harris was going to do a better job. She was just going to make this just keep on going on. Whoa. She was just going to keep on going on with it going on, and this could be a continuation of Biden and Obama administration, and things was not good. They're the ones who pushed for the pandemic. They're the ones who wanted to force people to take a vaccine. Like go figure how they for civil rights where they are infringing on your civil rights. Obama's the one who put in the Patriot Act that allowed people to tap into your phone calls without a warrant. Remember, Obama did that. Not George Bush. Not George Bush Jr., but Barack Obama. He's the one who basically signed on to the fact that they could legally tap on. Remember the whole, Richard Snow? Is that dude who is wanted for treason and he's in China or Russia right now? Yeah, Richard Snow had to leave the country because he basically whistleblowed on the United States. And the United States wants him to this day for treason because of that. Because he basically whistleblowed on the president and the government infringing on our civil rights. Y'all remember that movie? Oh, XL Pro says this is deep information.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess I got too deep for them, man. They don't want to hear about that. Eric Snowden. I called him Richard Snowden, Eric Snowden. Yeah. And it's Eric Snowden. Dude, they still want him for treason. I wonder if Trump could pardon him or something like that. Maybe not. Or maybe he don't want to. But go figure. Let's see here. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. We have someone who's disagreeing. Okay. Let's see here. Eric, let's look up Eric Snowden. Okay. Why is it not coming up? Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, let's see here. Let's see here. Because someone's contesting. Someone says, look, someone comes in and says, let's see here. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to read what you said because, one, you're not a subscriber. And two, if you really got something to say, go ahead and put money on it, bro. If not, if you can't super chat it, guess what?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch.
Now, his name was Edward Snowden. Yeah, his name was Edward Snowden. So we done changed his name at least 3 different times. And let's see here. Let's see here. All right. And let's see here. By the way, okay. And by the way, someone tried to they had a lot to say, but I'm just play this, by the way. All right. Just because since we're getting political.
As I said in my opening remarks, I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operation. I think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. As I said in my opening remarks, I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference, and I think the American people's preference, would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of these laws, a thoughtful, fact-based debate that would then lead us to a better place. Mr. Snowden's been charged with 3 felonies. If, in fact, he believes that what he did was right, then, like every American citizen, he can come here, appear before the court with a lawyer, and make his case. If the concern was that somehow this was the only way to get this information out to the public, I signed an executive order well before Mr. Snowden leaked this information that provided whistleblower protection to the intelligence community for the first time. So there were other avenues available for somebody whose conscience was stirred and thought that they needed to question government actions.
Yo. You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Oh.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So let's not talk. We're not going to talk about. Someone wanted to go catch me on a technicality because I mentioned the Patriot Act, but George Bush is not the one. George Bush Jr. is not the one who made it. Who signed into the fact that to put surveillance on Americans, though. Okay, because guess what? George Bush Jr. is not over here crying on here in front of the whole world. It's your favorite president, Barack Obama. It's this ninja. All right, this dude right here.
This is a sick Negro.
And here's the thing: if he said he signed in whistleblower protection, then guess what? Why would you want to arrest him? Why would you charge him for espionage? And if you thought what you did was okay, let's not even talk about the legality of it, because the government could do whatever they want. But see, if you thought it was okay, you would have just told everyone that you did it. But see, y'all was eavesdropping, having it on people, and keeping it a secret that you were doing it. So that means political enemies, Donald Trump, anybody y'all don't like, y'all could just go ahead and just eavesdrop on him. Eavesdrop on him, bruh. You see how these Negroes be, bruh?
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Like I said, matter of fact, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you on timeout. Yo, if you got anything that you want to say and you're a non-member, super chat it. This is look, I do this for funds, not for fun. If you got anything that you want to say against what I'm saying here and teaching here today, or what I'm preaching about and what I'm talking about tonight or this morning, y'all more than welcome. Y'all see the Cash App right here. Cash App, $ Cali West 1. And y'all could send me all the hate mail y'all want and all that. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, fuck around with your mama this morning, not me. But, the thing is that people don't like to hear what you have to say. Like I said, and, to be technical, we'll read exactly what Eric Snowden was in trouble for. On June 21st, 2013, and this is from the Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia is probably not the best thing to use, but Wikipedia just, the fact that there's so much legal information on this, I'm sure Wikipedia is not lying about this portion. On June 21st, 2013, the United States Department of Justice unsealed charges against Snowden on 2 counts of violating Espionage Act 1917 and theft of government property following the Department of State revoked his passport. Let's see here. Now, of course, let's read the actual crime. Let's see here. All right. Wow. Oh, let's see. Snowden said that he had multiple employees and 2 supervisors about his concerns, but the NSA disputed his claims. Snowden elaborated in January 2014, saying that I made tremendous efforts to report these programs to coworkers, supervisors, and anyone with proper clearance who would listen. The reactions of those I told of the scale of constitutional violations ranged from deeply concerned to appalled, but no one was willing to risk their jobs, families, possibly even their freedom to go through what Thomas Andrews Drake did. I don't know, they have it in quotations. In March 2014, during the testimonies to the European Parliament, Snowden wrote that before revealing classified information that he had reported clearly problematic programs to 10 officials who said did nothing in response. In May 2014 interview, Snowden told NBC News that after bringing his concerns about the legality of the NSA spying programs to officials, he was told to stay silent on the matter. He said that the NSA had copies of emails he sent to their Office of General Counsel, Oversight, and Compliance personnel broaching concerns that the NSA's interpretations of its legal authorities. I had raised these compliments not just officially in the writing through mail, but to my supervisors, to my colleagues, and even more than one office. So, yeah, they're spying on people. All right. Let's see here. Spying on people. And there's all the little technical jargon and all that stuff that they talk about right here. But y'all could review the case yourselves and review the whole situation. Y'all want to go back to 2014, 2015 on it. But we all know that the man had to run away because they were going to have him. They were going to take that boy out. And guess what? That's why, like, and go figure, there was a movie called with Will Smith. What was the name of that movie? Will Smith and Gene Hackman. Enemy of the State. Go figure. Enemy of the State. I don't know if y'all ever seen Enemy of the State, but Enemy of the State was literally about them not having the right to tap onto people and stuff like that, and using but yeah, it might have been, I guess the CIA was doing stuff against, well, I guess the thing was the CIA was basically essentially spying on Americans, which they're not supposed to do, but they're doing it now legally. Richard Snowden exposed the enemy of the state. And guess what? He's still wanted for espionage. Ain't that crazy? As a matter of fact, what is he doing? What is Edward Snowden doing with his life before I get up out of here? Because I'm done with my rant for today. What is he doing now? Because this is something he's doing now. What is he doing now? What about Donald Trump? I seen something about Donald Trump. What about Donald Trump? Hey, Trump, he said that he should be executed, and then he'll kind of consider maybe pardoning him.
Who are these niggas?
I cried laughing when I read
You know what I'm saying? like, we need to stay away from these niggas.
But hey, for what it's worth, in 2020, Trump did debate on letting him kind of get back scot-free. But truth is, even if he would have granted it, I don't know if Edward Snowden would have been comfortable even coming back, because guess what? Somebody could still, he's still gonna have a target on his back for the rest of his life, bro. So anywho, man, what did my boy Toussaint gotta say? Toussaint 32 says, another live stream, keep it coming. Yes, sir. You already know, boy. You know how we do.
My nigga.
I appreciate everybody for tuning in to another episode. Shout out to the Righteous Fear and the Jam City crew. Once again, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling this shit. It's been an hour. Your boy up out of here.
I want to do it the right way and learn some of the unwritten rules.
That's why I was talking about the seminar, so that we can get players to come down there and bring their grievance, their problem, how to catch a hooker, what you do to be a boss player, what do I say to my wife when I decided that I wanted to be a true player and walk out on the family. We need a seminar so we can teach these guys, to give them the right understanding so they'll know, man.
I'm out of here, yo. Peace.